A very warm welcome to the Conscious Talk Club. I'm your host Gardner, and today we are going to talk about the mental demand. You realize that in life, as we journey, we all have demands. And most of these demands come from our parents, our relatives, our communities, our societies, and even the nation at large. But the question is, have you put that demand mentally? Because it is until your mind demands that you're able to achieve. And that is the yardstick as to why many of us do not achieve what these demands are put on us. It's because we have not internally or mentally put the demand on ourselves. Now the question is, how can I have that mental demand? It's until that comes into play that you're able to achieve, you're able to sustain, you're able to get that of which you desire to do, be, and have. The first way of mental demand is learning. I'll borrow the words of Malcolm X. He once said that if you want to hide anything from Africans, put it in a book. Simply means Africans are not fond of reading. But it is until you and me start reading that you are able to put the pressure on our mind, which in return puts pressure onto us. Because the problem I may be having today may be trapped in a book in my shelf. The problem you may be facing today, or the challenge, may be trapped in a book that is in a library. Because when we look at these books, there are experiences that people have gone through. There's no inventing the wheel anymore, because the challenge I have, somebody X might have gone through before and put it down the formula and the solutions, and they are trapped in that book that you ought to have read. The second is thinking. Once you have started, once you have learned how to read and learn, now we go to thinking. Henry Ford once said that if you think you are right, if you think you are wrong, either way, you're correct. Why? Because you become what you think about. Cooley put it and he said, I'm not what I think I am. I'm not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. Now, many of us have become not of our own product, but of what other people expect us to do. Now, thinking is one way you enlarge your brain. You exercise your brain. And how do we exercise our brain? And how do we implement the thinking into our life being? There are 4 strategic ways in how you can exercise your mind. And these are types of thinking. The first is linear thinking that you and me normally use. The linear thinking is a step-by-step process to achieve something. You want to know the density of an object, that means you have to take the famous Archimedes principle. Density is equal to mass over volume. So you use that step-by-step process to arrive at an answer. But most extraordinary people that we call extraordinary people, the 1%, are people that do not follow the step-by-step process. They learn and they think outside the box to come up with a step-by-step process. So you are not to just follow the path that everyone has taken, but you must take a path that nobody has taken and let us follow. And that's how you exercise your mind. That means your perspective changes. Because whatever you see was once upon a time an idea in the mind of somebody who never gave up. They struggle to bring it to manifestation. So it is until you start exercising, start thinking, that becomes different. We have 2, lateral thinking. Lateral thinking simply means thinking outside the box. You don't follow a straight line. You can take zigzag, you can go around, but at the end of the day, you arrive at where you want to go. And this is the kind of thinking that many of us do not have. We just follow the system. The third is strategic thinking. Strategic thinking comes in as it's like the bird overview. How strategic am I going to do what I'm going to do? You've put down the idea, you've put down the process. Now you come down to see which one comes first. And you're answering the question what, when, who, and where. And once you have these kinds of thinking, it directs us for parallel thinking. Parallel thinking does not consider right and wrong. What if we incorporate all? Now, those 4 kinds of thinking helps you to exercise your mental demand that gives you a different perspective that helps you to achieve that you desire to do and have. And the third is the emotionability. Emotionability means that you attach your mental and your emotions to attain something. We have been brought up to believe that men cannot cry. And it's very hard to see a man cry in public. But that's not emotionability. Emotionability is allowing yourself to flourish, to flow, to become that of which you're supposed to be. If you're to cry, cry out loud. If you're to laugh, laugh out loud. If you're to be happy, because happiness is the path. Now, that state of emotionability, of sentiments, helps you to free yourself and start thinking up front, and start reasoning, and start becoming that of which you desire to be, do, and have. So once you practice these 3 steps, learning, thinking, and emotionability, that is the beginning of mental demand. Because you have opened the horizon for you to perceive things in a different way. And once you start perceiving things in a different way, that is how you meet these other demands that come from externalities. So it is until you demand emotionally, it's until you demand mentally, it's until you demand from within that it comes to manifest without.